Namaskar, Dilip Singh Advocate, and you are most welcome in my channel, Journey of Constitution of India. Today we will discuss about Article 17, Abolition of Untouchability. But before that, let me ask you one question. What do you think about the Indianness of the Indian Constitution? And how you are placed to appreciate the Indianness of Constitution? Indianness here I mean Bhartiyata. Before you start thinking, let me give you the idea which I mean to say. We all know that our framers of constitution borrowed heavily of many ideas and provisions from the other constitution of the different parts of the world. This borrowing is only of the structure. What about the spirit of this great political legal document? Whether the spirit reflect true Indianness? So, while presenting the draft constitution to the Constituent Assembly in 1948, Ambedkar said that there was nothing to be ashamed of in borrowing because nobody holds any patent rights in the fundamental ideas of the constitution. So, the Indianness of the constitution is very much reflected in the Indian constitution in Article 15, 16, 17, and 18. We are taking here Article 17. Article 17 text is very simple, which says untouchability is abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. The enforcement of any disability arising out of untouchability shall be an offense punishable in accordance with law. So the first sentence is the first part of this is the mandate of law, which which states in categorical term to the state that untouchability is abolished and its practice is any form is forbidden. And the second part allows parliament to make law regarding untouchability and for the prevention of the untouchability. The word untouchability has not been defined anywhere, either in Article 17 or in any part of the Constitution, or not even the laws which were framed later on by Parliament, known as the Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. Nowhere it is defined. However, a single judge of Mysore High Court in Devaraja case held that untouchability in Act refers to the social disabilities historically imposed on certain classes of people by reason of their birth in certain castes. So, untouchability is an integral part of caste system. It is not based on the mens rea of an individual. Article 17 of the Constitution knocks the whole problem of untouchability at the very bottom and throws it out lock, stock, and barrel. One important aspect of the article is it is incumbent upon the state to enforce the mandate of this article against individual or a group of people on behalf of the victim. So it is against the individual to be enforced by the state. Anyway, to what do you think? To what extent our constitutional provisions have achieved success in wiping out the untouchability from the mindset of Indian society? According to me, and it is substantially achieved its purpose and succeeded in eradicating. But the journey towards the acceptability of certain caste and assimilation in the society is still continuing. And what could be the best example? Just imagine in 2022 or 23, a Hindu organization like RSS, which is being headed for 90 years by upper caste, will be headed by a person from scheduled caste community. See the situation. That will be the classic case and classic example of assimilation of lower caste in the Hindu society. This is what imagined by Dr. Ambedkar when he said assimilation of lower caste or social union. Ambedkar told, and I quote, social union is a necessity to blossom and flourish the democracy in true sense. So now, at this phase of our Indian society, we need assimilation of the caste, lower caste. The constitution has adopted two-pronged approach to fight the constitution, the untouchability in the society. First, by abolishing it and making it forbidden in law, and declaring any disability arising out of untouchability is to be an offense punishable in accordance with law. Second, by promoting the interest of the untouchables or scheduled caste through various constitutional provisions like Article 15 and 16, and acting on these provisions to bring them in the mainstream of the society. Article 17 should be read with Article 35 of the Constitution, which mandates the Parliament to make appropriate laws making the offence punishable, which is in any way promotes or involves untouchability. Under Article 35, only Parliament has the power to make the law prescribing punishment of offence for offence of untouchability. How the Parliament enacted the first law as the name of Untouchability Offence Act 1955. In 1965, after 10 years of making of this law, a committee was formed in the name of Committee on Untouchability, Economic and Educational Development of Scheduled Caste, and this committee was set up for the purpose of recommending the various measures to improve their status. And on the recommendation of this committee, the earlier act was renamed as the Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955, and the various provisions were added and made it more teethful and more effective by making several provisions. State of Karnataka versus Appa Bala Ingale, AIR 1993, Supreme Court 1126, is a case in which, probably the first case in which the Supreme Court convicted a person for causing disability of untouchability. I'll deal this case later on. Another important milestone in this journey of eradication of untouchability and was the Scheduled Caste and Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 by Parliament, enacted to prevent atrocities against scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. This act is also popularly known as Prevention of Atrocities Act. Recently, this act was in news when in Kasinath case, Supreme Court passed certain directions related to investigation and arrest of accused under this act, which led to certain agitation also, and thereafter a review petition in the name of Prithviraj Chauhan versus Union of India was filed. And on 1st October 2019, three judges bench headed by Justice Arun Misra delivered the judgment and recalled the order passed by Supreme Court in Subhas Kasinath Mahajan case, and the earlier stage was restored. However, the Parliament also enacted an amendment in August 2018 in the name of Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocity Amendment Act 2018, whereby the two clauses were inserted in section 18A 1A and B in 1989 Act, with the provision of preliminary inquiry shall not be required for registration of an FIR against any person, and secondly, investigation officers shall not require approval for the arrest. So this way we have traveled a long way in this fighting against the social evil of untouchability, and we have succeeded to a great extent. Article 17 also fulfills the dream of Mahatma Gandhi, who worked hard throughout his life for the eradication of social evil of untouchability. The Constitution tries to, by its abolition approach, to establish an egalitarian and non-discriminating society. It not only abolished the practice of untouchability and made its offense punishable, it tries to establish the casteless society by promoting the welfare of all sections of the society. But the fact remains, unless our outlook of the society is changed, the provisions of constitution and laws will not work effectively, and the problem of discrimination against Dalits shall remain persistent. So it is the question. It is now at this stage we have to be concerned about the outlook. And part 4 of the Constitution particularly reflects the conceptualization of Ambedkar on democracy, that is to say, a political democracy should be accompanied with the social and economic democracy. There is one important case in this related with Article 17 in Sri Venkata Rama versus State of Mysore AIR 1958 Supreme Court 225, where the five judges bench presided by Chief Justice S. R. Das affirmed the right of untouchables to enter into the temple. This way, there are two, three more important judgments which I would like to deal and discuss in the future. And by this way, this journey ends here. In my next video, we will be discussing Article 18. Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe my channel. Namaskar.